Yeah.
Hi everyone, we're live. Okay, there's a little bit of a lag, so what you'll see that we're not up on YouTube yet. It will pop
Mm-hmm.
up in a
Yeah.
minute. So we'll pop up in a minute. I hope everybody can see me. Here we go. There we go. Hey y'all. Hey.
Hey.
Girl, I'm so happy to have this young lady here today, Gosha, the Vintage Equation. Y'all gonna love her. Anyway, let me say hi to people in the chat. Christine, hey girl. Tracy, hey Tracy. Miss Barbie, how you doing, Miss Barbie? How's it going? Anyway, we're gonna let a few more people come in before we start grilling Gosha. No, I'm just kidding. No.
Yeah.
But so what's the weather like in Edinburgh? We always do this. We always have to talk about the weather. Is it still hot? Is
Edinburgh
it hot
is
there?
Edinburgh is windy. For the last few days, it's windy. It's warmer than yesterday. Yesterday, it's so funny. Yesterday, I went for a walk like this, no sleeves, just a shirt, and I was freezing. So today I put a sweatshirt. Today I was sweating. So it's still, we don't know what the weather is exactly, but it's fine. It's okay. Windy.
Uh, Windy, yeah. Well, hey, Spirit Junkie, thanks for popping in. Um, so it was hot yesterday, and when I say hot, I don't mean America hot, where they're like in the three digits. We were like 86, 86 Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is in Celsius. I think it's like 28. So
Okay.
28
So
Celsius.
that's a lot. Yeah.
But that's a lot when we ain't got no air conditioning. And there was a wind, but it was like a warm wind, like a hot wind. I was like, oh no, I can't do this. No, it's too
Mm,
hot. Today, much better. It's been raining and it's about 16 Celsius, which is about 62 degrees Fahrenheit, y'all. I
you
know I
have
have
to
to think.
convert quickly in
I
that
have to
way.
think about it. Yeah, I'm not. Well, I work in Celsius at work, so you think it would just be like, but no. Hi, Sue. Thanks for coming in, Sheila. Hey, Sheila, girl. Thanks for coming. So, you know what? We're gonna go ahead and get started. I
Yeah.
want to introduce to you someone I found on YouTube. It was like a recommendation. It came up. This is Gosha, the
Yeah.
vintage equation. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. Y'all, she lives in Edinburgh. And oh my God, y'all, um, all her information and description of this video. And hey, Jamie, that's my girl from Texas. Hey, girl, my best friend. Um, so she lives in Edinburgh and she's also a vintage reseller. And if you see in the description of this video, her channel's in there. Y'all, I'm going to stress that you need to watch her videos. Y'all, I look forward to them. I die. She is so good at editing and she gets some really good stuff over there in Edinburgh. I cannot wait. Y'all, I'm going in the summer. I'm gonna visit with her. I'm
Yes.
gonna
Yeah. Oh, yes, definitely. Yeah. Oh,
uh,
well,
we're
thank
gonna, of
you for the nice introduction.
course. So let me ask you the most important question of all, Gosha. How did you get started reselling vintage
Or resell, just well,
or resell?
reselling. It started because I like to buy stuff. I like to buy vintage stuff, and I have so much stuff that it's too much. So I decided to sell. But also, I used to be a person who was very attached to objects, and I thought that everything that I was buying, I loved. It's like I'm not getting rid of anything, and I had to downsize. I had to move to another place, and I just have to get rid of. And it turned out it wasn't as difficult as I thought to get rid of the stuff. It's like I can buy new stuff, I can buy better stuff, and now I still buying stuff, and I buy a lot. So I decided just to move this stuff around, and it makes me buying makes me happy. Buying vintage makes me happy, and I can share now with people. So it just I think I'm just shopaholic a little bit. That's what.
You know what? I think all of us in the vintage community who buy and resell kind of have the same problem. Hey, Ancestral Beginnings, thanks for coming in.
Because the act of going to the shop and sourcing through this stuff from these piles of useless things, suddenly finding a treasure, that's the whole adrenaline happens, and I quite like this feeling.
I think that's true for a lot of resellers. Hey, Rebecca, thanks for popping in. I think it's very true. I feel that way. I feel that way when I go in thrift and you see that one thing, you're like, oh, and then you look around to see if anybody else is looking at it, and you grab it. That's kind of how. I mean, so you have like a revolving collection. Will you keep something for a bit and then sell it on?
uh, I I buy stuff for myself, but now I have open mind that it's not forever. I might get rid of it, might not. So now I have only the full shelving unit from the 60s ladder racks. Ladder racks, they are these, I think they call string shelves. They're like wiry ladders on
Okay.
sides. And they
Mhm.
are shelves. And this is, I know that I will keep it forever. This is the only piece of vintage that I'm keeping because I have also sentimental value with this. Uh, but other things I collect. I also call myself a collector. I have a
Yeah.
lot of things that I collect, but I try not to get used to them. There's open mind that one day I might sell them.
See, I love that you're open minded about. I'm keeping it for now, and I'm moving it on. Barbie says, "I live. I shop, therefore I live." Preach, girl.
Mhm.
So, what have you always liked vintage all your life, or was it something you came across at just
No,
out and about?
it turned out I was born like this.
Oh,
Because
okay.
I was talking with my mom one time. I was already here in UK, and on Skype I was showing her again these treasures that I found, and she was looking at this, and she you were always like this, and I don't know who you inherited from. No one in our family is like this, and you just buy this. She calls them tats. She just said you buy this touch, you buy things that other people get rid of. It's like, yes, that's what I do, and it's like I've always been like this. I remember we had few interior catalogs, magazines from the
Mhm.
60s and 70s at home, and that these already as a child they were my magazines to flip through. So yeah, born like this.
And well, I mean, I think I've always liked vintage. I'm old. My parents were also older parents, so my parents weren't the same age as my friends' parents. They were older, so a lot of their stuff in their house was what you would call was vintage at the time. In the 70s, my parents had furniture from the 50s because that's just they were older parents. So that's how I did it. So how long have you lived in Edinburgh?
Now will be 10 years.
Really, 10-year anniversary. So
Yeah.
was that the first place you lived in the UK, or is it the only place you lived in the UK?
That was the only one. My friend was already here. And when I finished my studies, I just didn't know what to do. And she was like, I just come to Edinburgh. And I decided, and that was the best thing ever. I stayed here.
I have to say I love Edinburgh. It's a great town. It's very there's a lot of culture there, you know. But I think that you and I had talked about like the thrifting, the like so I guess my question is going to be what is your favorite way to source? Where do you like to source from? Is it charity shop? Is it car boot? Is it antique shops? What is like where you find your the chef's kiss, the good pieces? Because you find some good stuff, girl.
Well, you can find everywhere, but I think charity shops in Edinburgh are very poor. It's a capital of Scotland, but charity shops are very poor. Um so car boot sales here today. I went to car boot sale. We have Saturday and Sunday, and I found few things, so that was good.
Yeah.
But I think antique shops now, also in Edinburgh, antique shops aren't good. So I have to go outside the city to find something. But I think you have a lot of stuff, good prices, good selection. I think antique shops are the best.
Yeah. So how far will you travel? Like, which is like, okay, this is my limit. I will travel to this. Like, I will travel, or will you don't care? You'll just go. If you
No, well, the problem is I don't have my own car.
oh,
That's the
okay.
biggest problem. So I have driving license. It's just I didn't buy a car. I have this fear that I just have to buy and do it,
Right.
but I don't. So I have to rely on my boyfriend. So for him, max is like an hour from Edinburgh. That's where he wants to take me. So an
He's like,
hour
that's
from
it.
Edinburgh, maybe hour and a half. That's my max.
But there's a lot of places an hour, that you can go to an hour from Edinburgh.
Yes,
Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Dundee. I found this shop in Dundee, antique shop. I really like it. So you can find, definitely you can find outside Edinburgh, all the smaller places, much bigger choices.
So yeah, I kind of found that last summer when I went to the charity shops were like, ooh, y'all like y'all stuff. Y'all want to keep it. You know what I mean? It was like very expensive. For what I would get down in Derbyshire, it wouldn't be that much. But it just depends on where you go and like the shop, but recently, like you said, recently, I've found that the antique shops have been more, affordable, more, there's more choice and the prices are realistic,
Mm-hmm.
and at the end of the day, it's kind of like that that person's making money, you're buying it, you're going to make money, and who knows if you're selling it to another reseller and they're making money. Do you know
Yeah,
what I
this
mean?
antique shop that I went to, the owner said that a lot of dealers come to his place and sell for bigger prices, and he doesn't mind as long as he's moving
Exactly.
his stuff. Yeah, that's fine.
Hey Wayne, thanks. They're new. I just got them because I'm old and had to get a better prescription. So it sucks to get old, y'all. Oh, the old age for the weak, honey. Okay, so what is the one thing that you haven't, like, you're what I would call a white whale, like your Moby Dick? Like, what is the thing that you haven't found yet that you want to find? Like, when I find it, oh, you'll be so happy when you. What is the one thing? Do you have that? Do you have a thing?
No, I don't know. I'm on the lookout for a nice vintage sofa. I would like a nice vintage sofa, and this is. It looks like it's impossible to find something. So, but I have a vision already of my flat. I know exactly what I want, how I want to decorate, and the sofa is something that I'm still looking. But when it comes to some objects, I don't know. I don't have anything on the list. So
Really? But you do find some good stuff. Hey, Steph, how you doing? Thanks for popping in. Um, I don't do. I think I've kind of found everything I've wanted to find. I mean, that's to say, I may not. Not that's not true. But a couch is a big deal because it has to be. You have to be comfortable. It has to be the style you want. It has to be an affordable price. A good price.
mhm,
So yeah, that's going to be one of those. I found it. Now how do I get it back to
mm.
my house?
Now I have a corner sofa. It's also from charity shop. It's a
Yeah.
used one, but a newer one. But it's a corner sofa. So to find a proper vintage corner sofa, I don't know if this is possible. So I was even thinking, considering the one that I have, it's so comfortable that maybe I'll just give it to the upholstery and
Oh
I will keep
yeah.
it because it is a good sofa. It's comfortable, and that's also important. So, and it's
Oh,
from 2004. So in 2 years it will be a vintage sofa.
it'll be vintage. You can sell it on Etsy.
So,
Yeah. Thank you, Bobby, for putting Gosha's Etsy shop in. Yes, y'all. So okay, I have to mention this because let's keep talking about resale. Then we'll mention the other
mhm.
thing. So obviously, what platforms do you sell on? I know you sell on Etsy. Is that
Yeah,
the only
just Etsy
platform?
because it's something new to me. I was
Mhm.
thinking about selling for years, and I had this fears in my head about, oh, it's selling, how I will sell, if they will get broke, if something will be broken, if they won't get on time. It was just psychological issues that I had with this fear, and finally I did it. So at the beginning, I'm now only on Etsy. It works for me for now. Fine.
Exactly. I mean, you have to find the platforms that work for you. I sell on both eBay and Etsy, and I prefer Etsy. That's just me. I
Hmm.
I I I don't know. I just feel like that Etsy's more for curated. People are looking for items that you've curated for them. Where I feel like eBay's the car boot sale. Do you know what I mean? Because I source on eBay sometimes.
Hmm.
I'll be honest with you. I source on eBay,
Yeah,
and
that's the thing. You can find on eBay cheaper things. While Etsy, it's like I put high prices on Etsy, but I was also considering you can have different models of business. You can sell cheaper
yes,
but
mhm,
constantly selling, or put bigger
yeah,
prices and waiting for a perfect client. So I'm still thinking, considering. I'm just for me, it's something new. So,
right,
but eBay, yeah, like you said, I buy on eBay very often, also
yeah.
for myself and for sale.
Oh, I love it. I think it's a good way to source stuff that it's difficult to find, or that you maybe see out in the wild. You're like, let me see if I can get that on at eBay cheaper. you know, so I do that as well. So I have another question for you.
Hmm.
You have another YouTube channel.
I do, yes.
Do you want to talk about it, or it's
Yeah,
nothing
we
weird,
can
y'all?
because
It's actually a very fun channel. I have it in the description of the video. You have to watch it. I love it.
that's what I do. I'm a full-time YouTuber, but a Polish YouTuber. So my other channel is called Świat Gosi, which means Gosha's World, and it was in Polish, but it's a fun channel that I do try to do makeup tutorials, uh, do some testing of sweets, or try on hauls of some clothes that I bought. But it's all with a sense of humor, just silly
Yeah,
things. But I just hit 400,000
yeah,
subscribers. So
y'all.
I'm proud of it. It's good.
I, you should be. That's a great achievement. And I actually watched a video yesterday, y'all. Obviously, it's in Polish, and I don't speak or read or what. There's no subtitles, but I don't speak Polish. I don't know what you were saying, but what I do know was that it was a makeup tutorial that went sideways. It was so good, y'all. I mean, you don't even have to understand what you say. It's so good. And I'm impressed that you're bilingual, which is amazing. And I think people don't understand how hard it is to move from another country and then have to speak the language of the country you're living in. And I think you're doing an amazing job. And 400,000 subscribers on Gosha's World, girl, that's amazing. That
Mm,
actually
thank
is,
you.
and you should be so proud of yourself because it's a lot. It's a big achievement, and it's a lot of fun. And I think in this world, people need that. People need fun, silly, watching someone try stuff out, which I think is just so fun. I think y'all really go check it out. Go subscribe. Um, she's just. I watched your videos, and I was your vintage videos are great. I mean, you edit like the Dickens. And let's talk about a little bit about editing because it's not a simple process.
Well, I'm using a very simple program because
Okay.
I'm yeah. But the editing I decided to do on the vintage videos, it's a bit different than on my Polish videos.
Mm-hmm.
It's I put more effort in these vintage videos in editing. It's more uh, quick cuts. Everything is cut, so it's not. I try not to be boring. I want it to have some pace, moving. But it takes me ages. I really, I think they are fine. They are okay. These videos, but it takes me ages to
Oh,
edit them.
y'all, her on her vintage channel, the Vintage Equation, the editing is so fun, and that's the thing. That's why I really liked them. When I was just like, I sat there, I got to see the amazing vintage she had, and it was fun. It was like a fun because you say you edit because you just talk and talk and talk, which you think people don't want to hear. I think they do, but I see what you're saying is that it's like a pop. It's like bam, 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 which is an amazing. I think it's an amazing way to do it. I think you really hit on something by doing your videos that way. I really, really do. I think you've done, and I keep gushing, y'all. I'm fangirling if you haven't noticed, and
But I
I am.
was trying to create something a little bit different than because all the American the vintage channels people go to this antique shop, and the choice of the antique shop, the choice of the thrift shop, it's completely different in UK.
Yeah.
So they can make 5 days a week, new shop that is, and the video is 20 minutes just from one shop, and we have here. I'm going to charge you, and in 2 minutes I know that what's on the shelf, and that's it. I'm coming out. So I have to figure out how to make a video that will be entertaining with the small amount of things that I have.
Yeah. And it is. It actually is. And you're right. Here, it's like you go to the charity shop one week, and well, I go to the charity shop, and then I'll go the next week. It's the same stuff. I'm like, I can't
Hmm.
video this. They saw this last week.
Yeah.
You know. So I try to go to different, like when I go down south, I go there because it's a different place. But hey, Val, thanks for popping in. I just, and it is hard to I think here in the UK, you to make shop with me videos is different than
Hmm.
the US. There's no way we could go to one of our charity shops every week and be like something different, because we know it's not that way.
Yeah, no, it's completely different. When I look at the American, these thrift shops, it's like warehouses. They can spend
Yeah.
their whole hours. We have these tiny little shops with one shelf of home goods, and that's it.
Yeah. We're in and out in like 15 minutes. We're like, good, we
Yeah.
got it. Let's go. You know? And it is difficult. I mean, but just based on that, you have made your videos suit you, and you are just like your videos. It's not like you put on a performance. It is Gosha, because I've talked to her in the back, and she's exactly like she's on her videos, y'all. She is just so fun. So
I'm a bit
what?
more shy privately. It's like on
Probably,
the
yeah.
videos,
I
I'm just
think,
open. I'm
yeah.
a bit more shy.
I think everybody's kind of a little bit more reserved in the background, but just having spoke to you the couple of times, you're just as funny and charming as you are on the videos, and that's sometimes that's hard to convey on a video, because it's just it's just this, and it's hard for people to see who you really are. But I think the way you edit them, and even the great things you find, um, are you really you've done a niche there. You made yourself, you carved it out, and yeah, you've made yourself a niche, y'all. She is so good. So what kind of aesthetic do you have for you? Do you have all decades, or do you concentrate on just a certain decade for your own personal collections and decor?
Yeah, I always say that I'm into 70s, 60s and 70s. I like the mid-century, classic mid-century modern, and the kicks of the 70s, like orangey browns. I even have here, my tattoo is Marks and Spencer, St. Michael's placemat, which is in UK, it's just a shop that
It
in
is
the
not Marks
70s
and
they had
Spencers,
this
girl.
And I went to the tattoo studio with a placemat and just told them I want this.
Okay, y'all. Marks and Spencers here is kind of like, I'm trying to think of an American store, like almost like a Target, because it's the higher end. Because Marks and Spencer's is a higher end store,
Hmm.
so it's like if Target got a little higher end than Target is, and they sell like they sell groceries, they sell homewares, they sell clothing. We call it Marks and Sparks, but
Hmm.
it's quite yeah. I mean, I'm not going there to buy my groceries. I'm gonna tell you right now. She's going to Aldi. But I think it's amazing that you love the design so much that you had it tattooed. That's such a good, what a good story. Oh my God, I love that.
But it's a placemat. But I now I'm more open. Well, I always was open to other eras because the kitsch of the 50s is
Yeah.
great. But
Mm.
lately, I also can appreciate more like Art Deco. I never thought about Art Deco, but Art Deco is so nice, classic, and all the lines. That lately I'm more incorporating everything, and
Mm.
also lately I notice I'm focusing a lot on the pottery. Just
Yeah.
pottery in general. I like even new artists. I just like something handmade. So now it's a lot of going on in my home.
Well, I mean, I love it. I mean, would you be any other way though? Come on, really. I think that the Art Deco, yeah, the lines on the Art Deco is so pretty, and it's just, and I think it's hard to stay with one aesthetic. I think if I don't know anybody who does, unless they go into IKEA and buy all this stuff and using an IKEA aesthetic. But one day that'll be vintage. You watch. Wait, some of the
Mm.
IKEA stuff's probably gonna be worth some money. But I think it's difficult to stay, especially if you're a vintage reseller and you appreciate all vintage. It's hard to stay with one aesthetic. I don't have one aesthetic. I call my house flea market chic. Okay.
Ooh,
Girl, yes, that's what we
yeah.
gonna we gonna copyright that. Flea market chic because I have everything in here from every decade, and I don't even care. It doesn't even have to match because I don't want it to match. I'm not a matchy person. So when you do go thrifting, do you have something in mind, or you're just like, I'm just going to find what I find?
N- I sometimes I have in mind, but when I'm in the shop, I'm forgetting what I wanted and just look at it. Now I'm looking for. I have a vision because for my kitchen, I have a lot of teas. I have selection of teas, different teas, and I decided that they will look great, different.
Oh, yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
every time I go to charity shop thinking I have to look for jars, and suddenly you're there and you just you overwhelm with all the goods, and it's like no, jars are not important. Everything now is fun. So,
Because you have a lot of mugs, because you do a tea every time you do a new video, you have a different tea.
yeah,
And
I noticed that already my marks are on the end of showing. I have to search for a new mark.
I'll have to send you some tea from here because they have some good tea here, locally sourced tea. And you always,
Oh,
this is your mug of the day, and this is my tea, and I love it. I mean, and sometimes you're not fond of the tea, which is hilarious. Sometimes you're like, no, I won't be buying this again.
well, I like to experiment with different teas. I just yeah I like to buy the different flavors, experiment, and it's not always works.
It doesn't always work. She's like,
But
yeah.
if you visit me, there's I have two drawers of teas, choice everything you want. Hippie teas, herbal teas, black teas,
Yeah.
Polish teas from Polish shop, a lot of teas, so
All
a lot
right.
of
Oh,
select.
that's good. So when you go, do you go back home often?
No,
She said, no, I'm a girl. So.
no, I have to book a ticket now to visit my parents. Also, my dad. My dad is an older man now, so I have to visit him. But um, no, I'm a once a
Yeah.
year visiting person.
Well, that's good though. I mean, it's because it's expensive, one, especially now with the prices and everything. I'm looking at trying to go to the States, and girl
Mm.
is crazy. And so I know that there was a point where you could get, uh, good flights to Europe and all that, but not now. It's they all the prices have gone up ridiculously. When you do go back, do you thrift?
I do. It's funny because I'm from Schools, which is not a big town. I think it's 900,000. No, how much? It's not big town. 900,000. That would be big.
Yeah, that would be big.
90,000.
Ninety
That's
thousand. Okay,
that.
that's
Yes,
still big for UK, but yeah.
yes. But there are good vintage shops, and I have a lot of things from Poland also here. So maybe if my shop will develop, I will start sourcing from Poland somehow. I
Yeah.
can get from Eastern European stuff, or a lot of things in Poland is from Germany, like West German pottery. We have a lot of these things in Poland. So
Yes. And I love West German pottery. It's amazing. Do you get so you said you started to like really look at pottery, and I think that's good because there's so many original pieces. Are there any vintage pottery artists that you are particularly looking for, or you're just like, I just like the look, it doesn't matter who made it?
usually it's I just look at the look. So whatever I look, of course, Bitosti, this is the most known, and I have two vases that I still use. That they are very usable. They don't leak because West German pottery can leak. It's a different,
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't
maybe
know
not leak,
that.
but they getting damp. It's the
Yeah, on the
glaze
bottom.
is different. Which Bitosi is the Italian quality is different. Uh, but no, I just mostly look whatever I like.
Yeah, whatever strikes your eye. And are you finding there's more pottery when you thrift, or is it just because you just now like it, or is it because you're finding more of it, or you have now more of an appreciation for it?
I don't know. I think I always like pottery. Pottery I always like, but now it's also now I'm most focused on handmade pottery. Like West Germany is mass produced, but I
Yeah.
like now something that was made by artists. So, but I pottery is my I think it's my weak point. Pottery,
Yeah.
any pottery. Not that glass. I like glass, but pottery is always I can't just pass by pottery.
So what's the best piece you've ever found so far? Like to resell?
To
That
resell,
you
I think I sold it. It was in fact Polish figurine. It was a panther, and I bought it here in UK, in Scotland, but it was Polish, and I paid £15. I sold for 250.
girl, that's
But I think I
amazing.
could even get 300 for it. I think it's more a rare one, but I try not to be that greedy. I was so happy with this find and quickly sold it. So I think that was the biggest profit so far. But I also found one time John Clapison for Hornsey. There was he was an artist who created for Hornsey, and I
Mhm.
found two small vases, and I sold them for over £100.
Really?
Really?
So what was the name of the artist?
John Clapison.
Joe Patterson. Okay, I'm right there. Because I see a lot of Hornsey, but I've never seen that name.
Yeah, check. He also was doing nice mugs, colorful mugs, but these vases they were white, just white. There was no color, and I think it was a bisque porcelain. They felt
Hmm.
not glazed, so they went very quickly. Also,
I bet they did, girl. They sound amazing. So, do you buy a lot of glass, or did do you still buy a lot of glass? I know you did, but did
no,
you? Or
I buy everything. I buy whatever I like, but I buy glass. But the best piece of glass I kept, at least so far, and I got it for free from one of my Polish viewers. Uh, and it's made by a Polish glass designer. And it's just a vase, like a nice orange vase, but it's worth also over £100. But that's something I kept also because it is from my viewer, but I like it. It fits to my design, so
yeah,
I
so you
kept it.
kept it. Yeah. Oh, do you buy a lot of linens or like fabrics?
I have some, but they are mostly for me because I have a vision of one time maybe so some cushions or tablecloth and they just lying there not used, but I don't know much about this. It's just, if I like something, fabrics I keep for myself. I think I have a how to sweet spot for fabrics that I
Yeah.
just like them to have. I like to have them to
Oh
look at
no,
the patterns.
I do like the fabrics, but it's hard to. Here's the thing for me: it's hard to photograph unless I hang them on my clothesline, and that you know what I mean. Like it's because they're so big, and you have to try to get them all in. I mean, you
Hmm.
could fold them up and do it, but it's just like you're not getting the true what they really are. So, what are do do you? Because there's a thing in the states called whatnot. Have you heard of that?
I heard, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
I don't
but
know
I
if
don't
it's.
know. Is it also in UK available?
Mm-mm.
No.
I've been looking. It's not. That would be a fun way to
Mm.
sell. And that'd be another platform. I think I would try. I think you'd probably be good at it too. I think it'd be
Yeah,
really
it's
because
getting popular in States. I think they have a vintage, sidebar so it's
yeah,
more popular.
that you can pick. Yeah. So when you thrift, do you set yourself a budget?
Oh no, no, no! I'm just,
You just buy whatever, right?
but I try to buy cheap. I a
Oh
little bit,
yeah,
yeah. I'm Scrooge. I don't want to pay a lot for things.
Scrooge. I also do you because we talked about this a little bit behind the scenes. Organization, like how do you motivate yourself to okay, I got to get up and do this, and I got to get up, take photographs, list, do a video for my other channel, do a video for my vintage channel. What how do you start your day? Like how do you get motivated to do that?
It's not easy sometimes. With my Polish channel, I've been doing this for I don't even know, like 5 years, and sometimes it's so hard for ideas now that
Mm.
I just don't know what to do. Sometimes I have these days that I have no idea what to do, so it's difficult with it. I make videos about everything, and suddenly it just you don't know what to do next. For my vintage channel, I'm very happy to do the videos, but then the editing scares me. It's like 3 days of editing, so but I have no choice.
Yeah, no, but it's good editing. It can take you 3 days, but it's amazing. It really is.
This
I
editing, when I started it, I was so, you know how you're psyched for something. It's like, yeah, yeah. And then you're realizing, oh my God, now I have to do this every time. So
yeah,
every time I have to now do the same thing. And it's time consuming. But like you said, I like this video. So at least this gives
yeah,
me motivation that you like it, that people like it. I get a positive feedback. So
yeah.
I think feedback is also a good motivation to make more.
Yeah, and it's also and you have to kind of enjoy. If you're not enjoying it, like you just said, I enjoy doing it. I loved it. Yes, it's a lot of work to edit, but I enjoy it doing it, and I enjoy putting it out there for people. And I think that if you're not enjoying it, then is it if it stops to be fun, stops being fun, then it's difficult because you're not just doing videos, you're also reselling and you're sourcing. So it's a lot. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot to do, and you have the other channels. So I feel like if because you do one video a week, which is based on just what you said, is plenty. I mean, if
Well,
you
I would like to do more, but first of all, it's like all the things I've shown. There are some things that I have in the shop that I haven't
right,
shown yet, but they've been there, lying there for a while, so I don't know if it's worth to show them or not. But the new ones now I'm trying to show on regular basis.
yeah,
And because it's thrifting in UK, it's not easy. I don't have that
and
much stuff. So once a week, I think is that's
yeah.
how it is.
And you said to me that you went to a car boot today, but that's not something you usually do, or
I try to, but sometimes it's car boot sales here. The one next to me, it's Saturday and Sunday. But also Friday, I usually go to bed very late, so I'm not always ready to get up.
mm, yeah, you have to get up early.
And the thing also with car boot sales, like, well, with charity shops and everything, that you not always guarantee that you will find something. So there were times that I got up early and came with absolutely nothing, and that's the most disappointing thing. So that's why today I was so happy that it was worth to go.
So it's yeah, and that's the thing with those. A girl, Barbie. Hopefully, you will come to the UK soon. We want you to come, Barbie. Oh, that'd be so amazing. Um, yeah, it's the thing about car boots is you go and you think yes, I'm gonna, and I have my camera attached, and I go and I look, and sometimes it's like I found two things. I woke up at 5:30 in the morning. to, I woke up to 5:30 to get there at 6 when they open, or try to get there early because everybody's already there. By the time they open at 7, people are already coming away from it because they've already been. And you go and you spend all that time that early on a Saturday, your only day off, and you come back with two things. It's like, was that worth it?
Mm.
So, sometimes, but like I say in my videos, it's feast or famine. Sometimes you go and you'll find, and this goes with any place. I'm sure you found this, whether you go to an antique shop or a charity shop or a car boot. Sometimes you find loads.
Hmm.
One week you're like, yes, and then the next week you go, you're like, oh, I got this one little thing here.
Yeah.
Yes. My video is this one thing.
Yeah, it is. Well, it is harder to source, I think, in UK. At least what I see from American videos is that we should be proud of ourselves that we're doing
Yeah,
so well here.
we should be proud we can make one video a week. Yeah, it is. It is, and it's not that it's. I mean, also, the UK is a lot smaller than the US. So,
Mm.
and obviously, but it's fun that when I go different places, I find different things, and I'm sure you leave. And let's say you thrifted in Edinburgh, but then you went to Dundee, and even just that distance, do you find a big difference in the items you find?
I think, first of all, I think in Dundee, because Dundee is much smaller than Edinburgh, uh, I think prices in charity shops are also better.
Uh-huh. Mm.
Edinburgh, after especially after the whole pandemic, prices
Hmm.
went up in charity shops. That's
Yeah.
so I think that these still have acceptable prices. And yeah, I also went to Kirkcaldy.
For Caldi, yeah. Hmm.
Yes, they have
That's a
their
seaside. That's a seaside, right?
yes, yeah, and
Yeah.
they I found there's a small antique shop. I found few good things there. So yeah, if you go from time to time outside, because if I would be going probably every few days to Dundee, there will be the same situation, the same
Yeah.
thing staying.
Hmm.
But if I go there once, maybe twice a month,
Yeah.
I bring a lot of new stuff.
100%. It's like you said, it's hard to um it's not hard to source here. You can source. Sometimes you have to be clever and creative. Like, do you ever go to like tabletop sales? I don't know if they have them there, like or a church sale. Because
I've been to church sale once, but they were mostly things done by people, like crochet
craft,
that the ladies
craft.
did, or just decorated jars. So there was no vintage, there was nothing
Oh wow.
nothing for me. No.
Because I've gone to like they have like tabletop sale here, and I found some surprisingly. You had people with like who had handmade stuff as well, but then they had people just selling vintage, and it was surprising what I found. I was like, wow, now when I can't go every week because the same people are there, and you're not going to get something different every week. It is difficult sometimes to source, and sometimes frustrating. I do get frustrated. Not so much frustrated. It's just that you want as much as the charity shops charge now. You think, right? Well, your turnover should be better. Just saying. I just find that the turnover isn't that great. I'll go to this one by my house every week. It's the same thing. You may
Mm.
find a couple of different things, but it's basically the same stuff. And I'm like, there's a reason for that. Probably because you're charging too much for the stuff that is there. And I understand they're trying to make money and it's all for charity. Well, some of it's for charity. We won't get
Yes,
into that.
but some charities, we have one in Edinburgh, that the things aren't that great. They're just normal, nothing unusual, but the price is like £30 for a vase. It's like, this vase is not even, I wouldn't put the price for this particular vase that price. Weird.
But a lot of them have gone online and sell on eBay. No, I've noticed.
They do now, yes, yeah.
Yeah. And they do have people who come in and will price up for them. Will do the research for them and then they list it or they, you know, and I like I said, like we talked about the antique shops. Is there anywhere that you won't source? Like you're like, yeah, I'm not going there to source.
No, I haven't found a place to, no,
Yeah,
I'm
me neither.
everywhere that there are things and things are cheap, I will go.
For sure. Yeah,
Mm.
it's like I said, it's not that it's hard here. It's just that we don't have as much. So, how do you feel about what things won't you sell? Like, what vintage things where you're like, I'm not doing that. I'm not getting involved. Like, that's just too much.
No, well, I have, for example, I have this table. There's a cloth on the table because this table is from the 60s Danish. It's one of these that have tiles on the top,
Oh yeah. Hmm.
and I bought it because I know there's value in it. But it's like, it's a table. I don't know what to do with it, and I just
No,
stand here in the. So I was thinking to list it on Facebook Marketplace, but I don't know. So I would love to sell. I have a vision of my shop in the future that I'm selling everything, including lamps and furniture. I would love to have a proper shop, like
that's
to make it my business, just to
oh,
have a
oh,
people and do stuff like this. But I don't know. It's just the beginning, and I have few things bigger. I have one big lamp also. Here I have this smaller Chinese lamp that I have in my videos, but I have a huge one, like huge one, well, big one, standing one in the living room that I bought for sale, and I don't know how to sell. I bought this lamp, and I cannot ship it. So there are things that I would like to sell, but I don't know how.
right. See, like, then that's the thing. Like on eBay, you can sell big stuff because you can have them come and collect at your house, which I find creepy. I don't want anybody coming to my house. I'm like, no, you're not coming to my. I just look. That's the American in me. Okay, you're not coming to my house. You're not just showing up. but you can also, there's also options to sell big stuff like that through, like Hermes will ship stuff like that. The problem with Hermes is they tend to break stuff. You
Yeah.
tend to hear a lot of horror stories about Hermes, which y'all in America, this is um, a delivery service that you can use here, and they will deliver big items. But you have to be careful with Hermes because they're not the greatest. So what did Wayne say? The charity shops are now selling on eBay. Do either of you feel it affects the quality or selection you are able to source? Yes.
What?
Gosha, what do you think?
I didn't catch up. You were so quick with
Oh,
this.
I'm sorry, girl. It says Wayne asked, since the charity shops are now selling on eBay, do we feel that it affects the quality of our selection that we're able to source?
So my charity shop that sells on eBay sell only big stuff so far. So
Okay.
they mostly sell clocks, furniture, lamps. So all the small stuff it's still available, just like this. The one that at least the one that I source. I know that other one charity shop, I think it is in Livingstone. They sell everything on eBay. Uh, and the prices can go up. I was looking at some small things and they can go up. So
Mhm.
probably they affect uh, our
Yeah.
sourcing, but it's not that bad yet. I think mostly they
No.
focusing on bigger things.
Yeah. Around here they sell on eBay and they make it well known. And you can go and look and because obviously you have like Sue Ryder charity shops, you have like the British Heart Foundation, um, oh, what's the other one? Dang, Oxfam. They sell online and they ask big money for their stuff, and it's good. It's stuff like we would source. So it's kind of like, oh. um, so Christine says, Side Street Market says, Macari here has folks that can come pick up the items and deliver local, so you don't have to meet the person personally. Oh yeah, that'd be good. That's what we need here for like Etsy. Etsy needs to have that option.
Marcari,
It's
but
kind of
it
like,
is it's for United States.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
good.
kind of like Vinted. Have you ever been on Vinted?
Yeah, I know vintage. Yes.
I source on there too, but well, because it's mainly for clothes.
Mm-hmm.
People sell a lot, and that's one thing I won't sell is clothing. I won't. I won't do it. I just Here's why, because the sizes from the 50s and 60s are well different from the sizes today. Your size 6 in the 50s and 60s is probably a size 1 today. Do you know what I mean? It's just so different. Um, but Vinted. I like Vinted. Vinted is a British reselling uh, platform that we can sell on. I haven't sold on it yet. I'm considering it, but it's a
I
bit like
have to check.
Macari.
I was few months during COVID time. I was few months in Poland, and then I was on Vinted a lot, Polish version of Vinted, because it's like in I think now it's in the whole Europe Vinted.
Mm.
But it, like you said, it was mostly clothes, but there were a few vintage stuff also. So I have to check the UK version. I haven't looked
Go
at it
on it.
yet.
Go on it and have a look.
Mm,
I find I've sourced on there before. I sourced jewelry on there.
okay.
I've sourced. They have homewares too. You just have to put it like in vintage glass and all that, and you'll be able to pull it up. But I like the idea of what you said. Let's go back to what you said, because it was my question was going to be, what are your plans for the future? What does Gosha want to do? Where do you want this to go? And you kind of touched on it when you said, I'd love to have a shop. I would love that too for you. So where would you want this shop? Would you want it outside Edinburgh, or would you want it close to where you could get to it easy?
Fair, I would like. I don't even know. It could be just online shop, but prospering very well. Just
Mm-hmm.
just selling stuff online, but to be have a known name in internet that people just sourcing with you. Have I of course the vision is big, so I would hire people who would help me with it because it's a big business, and I would just go and source me, maybe even source around Europe, like to going to Poland, visit my parents, and come back
Yes.
with a van full of stuff.
Yeah.
That's the full vision, but I don't know.
So would you not want a brick and mortar shop, or you just think that's? I'm surprised. This is what I'm surprised about Edinburgh, that they don't have more vintage shops. Do they have vintage shops like vintage clothing and vintage, funky and the fun vintage? It's on there.
Vintage clothing. There's a lot of vintage
Oh,
clothing. We have
okay.
vintage clothing. That's plenty, but there's no vintage brick
Home.
and brack shops. There's nothing like this. But
Really?
clothes, yeah, because Edinburgh is a student city. There's a lot of, I think there's 4 different universities. So I think nowadays all the young people buy vintage clothes.
Right. Oh, for sure. Yeah. But remember, these people are these kids buying vintage clothing. They're also living in flats and stuff in Edinburgh, or their college dorms. I don't know how it works, but um, they may that's why I'm surprised there's not a shop that, I mean, yes, you said you have the antique shops, which are actual antiques, like
Hmm.
from the 1800s, big massive chifforoos and and wardrobes and the beds, and because I've been in a shop like that in Suffolk, and the furniture is great, but it's antique. I'm surprised there's not vintage, apart from the charity shops, there's not a vintage shop where it's just like, come and find your vintage wares for your house. I'm actually surprised because I feel like Edinburgh would have something like that. Maybe that's
Yeah,
the
I would
niche.
think also because it's a capital. I was so no. There's a it's called Unicorn Antiques, and it does have it has a mixture, but mostly it's vintage. It's
Yeah,
there's more older stuff, not many 70s, 60s.
right,
They have a lot of small things, but they are still too old for my
right.
liking.
They're not like that aesthetic that you're wanting
Mm.
to. Yeah, and
Plus, also, I don't know much about antiques. It's just not. I have no idea. They might be valuable. I just
yeah,
don't know.
yeah. And here's what I'm saying is there's not
No.
that middle place that where we source from and we like to sell, and
Hmm.
there's a space in the market for it, Gosha. I'm just saying.
But I was thinking of a normal shop that you can walk in,
Yeah,
but I don't know. I think that's much more work then. It's more
it's,
stress. It's
it's a
more
lot of work.
stress. So
You
if
have
you're
to be
doing it
there.
online, at least you don't
Yeah.
have to deal with people every eye to eye, because you can just
Yeah,
in the peace of your own home
correct.
send it.
Or the piece in your own space that
Yes.
you're comfortable in. Oh yeah, for sure. No, I get that. I understand wanting to sell online. I used to have a website, but it went straight to Etsy. So my website was hooked to Etsy. I would eventually like to have my own, much like you, sell online. The
Hmm.
outside of Etsy, outside of eBay, outside of other places. So yeah, it would be great. I'm just excited. I think that's a wonderful dream. I am so excited. You know what? Here's the thing. I think you can do
Oh, we'll see.
it.
I think I watched too much. What is this program with Drew Pritchard? Have you seen it, Drew Pritchard? But
No.
he's a UK. I think he's from Wales, and he has program on TV, and that's what he does. He's sourcing around UK, and also he had one series in Europe. He has people to upholster his stuff, and he has, I think, a blacksmith also to fix the thing. He's an electrician, and he has his own shop. And but he's more into antiques, a little bit older stuff. But that's
Salvage
what he do,
hunters?
and I think I just was watching too much of his program.
I mean, it inspired you. So Wayne said it's called Salvage Hunters.
Yes,
Yeah, I
yes,
have seen it. Yeah, I know who you're talking about now. Yeah,
yeah.
I've watched it. It's quite interesting. I sometimes don't like the way they upcycle stuff. Is that the one where they upcycle stuff?
Well, I don't know if they upcycle that. He cleans them. I think he cleans
Oh,
because
okay. I'm thinking of a different show.
he always says that it's good to have vintage stuff with old patina, and so I
Yeah.
think he fixed them maybe. I don't think he upcycled, but he fixed a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Hey, Christy P. What channel is it on? Because now I need to watch it.
I think I was watching it on channel 4. I think it was.
Okay, Channel 4. Yeah. All right. I'll have a look because that's here in the UK, y'all. I don't know. It's
But
it's got.
he's more into vintage. But the whole idea of him sourcing, he just have a van. He goes, brings stuff, and that's what I want to do. And let some other people lift it, take photos. I will just go in course.
I just find it. You people can do everything else. Thank you.
Well, we have to pay these people so that the business has to be, prolific.
Oh, okay, Christy P. Thank you. She thinks the show reruns on Quest. Good to know.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, another UK station, uh, a TV station. What am I from the 70s? You know, you can find it on YouTube as well. Oh, love this show. Want his job. Oh, we all want his job. We want to. Gosha's gonna get her van. Okay, here's the plan. Gosha gonna get her van because she got driver's license already, and she's gonna run around doing stuff, and I'm gonna work for her. So I'm gonna quit my job, move to Edinburgh. I'm gonna be like, girl, I'll take the pictures. I'll do all the heavy lifting. I'm strong like ox, so I'll do the heavy lifting. Oh, Gosha, girl, I absolutely loved you being on my channel.
Thank
I,
you.
y'all need to go. If you're not subscribed to Gosha, the Vintage Equation, y'all to get yourselves down. And I have done her a shout out on my Dolo digs, like at the end of my video. But y'all, now that you've seen Miss Gosha and you know what she's about, go subscribe. I I am pipping myself out to Gosha. Yes, I'm going to be Gosha's worker. Mhm. Yes, I
No,
am.
not worker. How the how, co-business,
Partner.
co-partner. Yes.
Partner. But she gonna make me do the heavy lifting and the photographing and all of it, cleaning up. She's gonna be sitting there running around. So I know I would just be excited to see what you bring back. I'd be like, yes, girl. I think it's a great idea. And it's good to have that kind of dream. It's good to have those kind of plans. And and the thing is, you're not saying you're gonna do it tomorrow, but the fact is that you are thinking about it and you this is what you want for your future. And I think that's amazing. And I think that's great.
It would be nice. It's a dream. We'll see. We'll see. But you have to have dreams.
Exactly. You have to have something to look forward to and you have to have dreams. And hey, Georgia, thanks for popping in.
And
Um,
now, maybe not a dream, but something that will happen soon. I think we'll see each other in Scotland
oh my God, y'all.
in
We are
person.
going to, that's my dream. I'm going to be going to Scotland at the end of July, beginning of August, and Gosha and I will be meeting up. Don't know
Yes.
what we're going to do. I think we might go to Dundee. Unclear. Doesn't matter where we go. I'm just as long as I'm shopping with Gosha. That's all I'm excited about.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's the
I'm very
plan.
excited. That is the plan, y'all. And all right, guys, thanks so much for popping in. Thank you, Gosha, so much for being a guest on my
No,
channel.
thank you for having me.
I am so fangirling right now. Y'all don't even know. And I know Jamie, right? I cannot wait. And my next trip's got to be to Houston. So I have been looking, Jamie, at flights. Okay, y'all. Thanks so much for popping in a Dolo Digs today. I appreciate it. And you guys take care, and we'll see you next time.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.